Hey, this is Tiqqle, and with TBC on the horizon, pre-patch is out, and the game only has a few weeks away. I'm sure you're getting ready and questioning, what is it going to be that great? Is it going to be that cool? Well, let me go over the top 5 things that I'm most excited about going into TBC. And before I jump into it, let me thank the sponsor of this video, Raid Shadow Legends. You might have heard of Raid Shadow Legends, but did you know that it's on the PC and mobile? Well, you can explore millions of champion combinations and master countless tactics while you take on raid bosses, dungeon runs, companion quests, PvP arena matches. That's right, arena. Solo queue. And this month, Raid is releasing an insane amount of new content and things to do. First, they're releasing 11 new champions and 200 brand new missions to complete with an exclusive legendary champion as your reward if you manage to finish. If that's not enough, adding 5 new levels to almost every single dungeon in the game. I played Raid Shadow Legends for a long time, and I've put my many men into battle and buffed them and geared them up. So hopefully that I'm ready, but I hope you are too. And I want to thank Raid Shadow Legends. It's a perfect time to jump into action. Use the link below. Go in, start to level up, and request to join the Tiqqle clan. And then with that being said, let's go ahead and jump back to the video. Now let's jump into it. Number 5, itemization. If you don't know about TBC, this is a time where hunters wore every piece of gear, well, I guess other than plate. A lot of specs would take, even if you think of them as a male class, like a shaman, they're still using cloth, leather, other stats from other gear. This is partially because there's so many additional stats on items now. There's mana back, there's spell power, there's all of these stats, attack power, separate from agility, separate from strength, and my favorite part, there's a ton of gem sockets. That is my singular most exciting thing, I think, about itemization, is there is so much that you could do, and there's so much customization possible. Now, of course, this changes depending on what type of content you're doing, PvP, PvE, but it was something that I thought was awesome back in the day, as well as stimulating the economy through tons of enchants for gear, tons of different gems to go in meta sockets, to go in colored sockets, and some gear had 2+ sockets in them, and that I thought was super awesome. Now, resilience is also back, the PvP stat of old. That is something people are going to be very excited about, as well as stats having different meanings. If you look at the stats for your individual class, they're going to do different things than they do in the current game, because even hit rating is included. Expertise, there's things that are gone, and they've been gone for a long time, and we're going back to this RPG style. So that's my first thing I want to mention. Second thing is the talent trees. Talent trees allow you to customize your character so much more. It means that you're not just a fire mage. You're a fire, frost, maybe a little bit arcane, palm pyro mage. This is presence of mind, right? So this is awesome. This allows you to customize your character however you want across all the different available skill trees or talent trees. Now, this means that most people won't just be in one tree. Pretty much everyone will not be, which actually gives you a lot of diversity in specs. Now, sure, there will be cookie cutter talent builds, the best PvP this, the best PvE that, the best rating this, etc. But frankly, you can shift it yourself a little bit. There's also very nuanced things within these talent trees, including rogue, mace stuns, warrior, extra hits with swords, a lot of things like that. That is pretty cool. Now, the next thing is realm specific groups. There's no LFG. You won't be posting your name to the bulletin board. You will be shouting in trade chat. You'll be networking with guilds, and those are your only options to get content done. This brings a lot more focus on guilds. It brings a lot more focus on what server you're on and what buddies you're with. It's gonna drive you to be grouping and not being a jerk. This is one of the things, the politic aspect, that has left the game over a long, it's been gone from a long time. It's who is who on a server, and it gives people something to strive for. Either they're the troll on the server that shouts in trade chat and everyone knows their name, which still happens, I guess, or you're gonna be an awesome tank that's part of a very community-oriented guild that is like in an alliance or in a, some type of agreement with another main spec, pushing raiding guild. A lot of that type of stuff can happen, which is not what happens nowadays. And it's mostly because everything is server specific. Also, if people are ninja looters or etc., they're going to be labeled as such and therefore are not going to get into guilds or groups. So they'll be shunned out of the server. Next up is arena teams and arena points. This is something that you might not know about, but basically you'll have to set up a formal team, which means people can only play on one specific team for that bracket. You can name your team, you can create a banner, etc., but this allows your team to have more of a focus together together. It's not like a wishy-washy thing where you'll play with anybody. You're now going to be playing with those set of people. The way arena points will work is at the end of every week, you'll be given a certain amount of points. I actually like this system where you'll actually be working towards a goal every week of how high can you get, and there's a certain calculation that will generate how much arena points you'll be getting from that bracket. Now, there's other little tweaks and tricks you can do, like standing next to a PvP vendor where you can buy offset pieces, equip them for the arena match, and then after the arena match, you can sell them to keep your arena points for building up for a weapon or what have you. But these are things that I'm sure you'll learn about from people you start to play with. Weapons are not able to be attained until you get 1800 rating and from arena points, which is very cool. And there's other rating thresholds, but you don't have to ratchet your gear up 8 upgrade steps or 7 upgrade steps or 5. You just get the gear, and that's what it's about. Second to last item I want to mention is tier sets. This is PvP and PvE specific tier sets. One of the most unique parts of the game, the things that I used to love, was matching these cool augmenting tier sets together and using those in PvE and PvP content. And certain classes will use that, like in Warlock, we'll use 2-set PvE, 2-set PvP. Comboing those together can supercharge you for the arena or whatever PvP you're doing. As well as using PvE gear in some situations will be advantageous, like certain maces that have stun on them. I won't even name them. But there's a lot of dipping between PvE, PvP realms, and the key and one of the best parts of that, in my opinion, is the tier sets. And one more thing I'm so excited about is professions. Professions finally coming back to be very mainstream and extremely useful for multiple reasons. Number one, enchants. There are so many enchants for your gloves, your chest, your wrists, your gloves, almost every slot, including some that won't be from enchanters, but are from rep or vendors, as well as gems. As I've already mentioned, there are so many gems with awesome meta gems that are actually going to influence your power, as well as give you some, stun resistance, slows, all that resistance, all that stuff, and has to do kind of interworking with gems. Now, on top of this, there's also all the other crafting professions, like crafting of weapons, crafting of gear. Those will be useful, as well as so many potions and consumables, which is really the time to shine for professions and really specializing in those areas. So that is definitely one that I'm excited about, that I wanted to make sure I include here. And all of this together brings me to my number one thing I'm most excited for, the fact that this will be a true RPG progression. You will not just start at 60 with full purples. You'll have to work towards it through dungeons, then heroics, then raid. There will be a gear progression as well as a power progression, and you'll definitely feel it as you start to get upgrades. And as those rewards increase, it's not just your quote-unquote item level going up, it's your ability and really your sets. I mean, you're going to go through a massive power shift that will not just feel like kind of a linear ride. It's going to feel pretty cool for each individual class, particularly around when tier sets show up. You will feel very awesome when you get those things, and they're things to strive towards. Even if they're not going to give you the biggest benefit, there's things that you shoot for, and I think that's the part of an RPG experience that has been missing for a long time, and that's one of the things that I'm most excited about for TBC. So guys, those are my 5-6 things that I'm most excited about. Make sure to put down in the comments the number one thing you're most excited about. And if you like shaman content, if you like TBC content, if you like retail content, or if you want to check out my stream, check below. But hit that sub button, hit that follow button. We'll be putting these out every other day or so as we go through the TBC adventure together. We do have a guild on Fairbanks Horde. You're welcome to join. A little bit more casual until we find our raid leader. But with that being said, I want to thank Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.